up, everybody? It's Untitled here, and we're back with another weekly challenge from Assassin's Creed Odyssey. This one's called The Illusion of Peace. It's got you destroying 25 Athenian ships and 50 Athenian soldiers all over Greece. Now, the first thing I want to point out is before I started recording this, I went and turned the nation power of Pirate Islands over to Athenian. And this is right by Attica, which is also Athenian, and that's going to spawn Athenian ships all around these waters here. Okay, so there you go. As you can see, there's Athenian boats all around here. If this was still a Spartan-controlled territory, then there would have been Spartan ships in the mix, and our ability to get those boat kills would be reduced. So, I believe I mentioned this in a previous video. If the borders of the nations where you're searching for ships are blue, then you're going to find Athenian ships in those waters. And if the borders around the nations where you're sailing are red, then they're going to be Spartan. So, depending on whatever nation the game is having you destroy, whether it's the Spartans or the Athenians, you're going to want to consider changing the nation power over to that particular faction in order for there to be those boats in the waters. If your whole map is Spartan, like my map is almost totally Spartan right now, then you're gonna have a hard time with this particular quest, especially if you want to get it done in one sitting. Now, I actually waited until the last few hours of this particular challenge to see if I could actually pull it off in just a short period of time, and I pretty much pulled this off in the amount of time that the length of this video is, a little bit more. I cut some of the clips out to in order to try and keep it as short as possible, but so I'm going to give you some tips on how to take these boats out, and this time I'm actually going to show you how to take out those 50 Athenian soldiers real fast. But let's focus on the ships right now. So we're looking for the Athenian boats, and we don't have any constraints. It doesn't have to be a particular ship, you know, it doesn't have to be a pentaconter, it doesn't have to be you know, a trireme. It's any Athenian boats this time around. So as we move around this side of the island, we're going to try to do a little trick that I pulled off in the Red Sea video that I did. That one had us going after Spartan ships. What I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to try to get this guy's attention by firing at him, and then I'm going to go for the ships that are over to the left, and hopefully he'll follow me over there. That way we can get more kills in one sitting. We'll see if this guy follows us all the way over here, though. He might not. This works sometimes it doesn't. It really just depends on what kind of ship it is or how far it is that you have to go to get to the next ships. Well, it looks like he might have broken off his chase because we're not getting fired at anymore. But it does work the majority of the time. It's just to fire at one set of boats, get them to chase you over to the other set of boats, and then you got more kills to make. Now, here's one thing about the fire arrows. This ship right here, this particular ship is a tough ship to bring down. As you can see, it has a darker sail than the rest of the ships. And so I kind of like to save my fire arrows for situations like that, where there's, you know, these two ships right here are very fast. They're the Pentaconters, and they can lay some damage on you quick, but it's not heavy. But if you get them paired with a ship like that one, then they can do some pretty serious damage on you. So I like to save the fire arrows for the bigger ship, the one that can do more damage, and get that one incapacitated for the time being. That way I can focus on the other smaller ships. So that's what you're seeing me do here. I incapacitated that big ship for a little bit. I took out the other small ones, and now we can focus our attention on the tougher ship. He's damaged now, so he went down pretty quickly. So that kind of tactic can work to your advantage in a lot of ways. So, as you can see off to the distance in the left-hand side of the screen here is the ship that we were trying to get pulled into the battle. We're going to go for him. Another thing I want to point out, guys, is your bounty racks up pretty high. Don't be afraid to use your funds to clear those bounties. Don't let that rack up, because if you let it rack up to more than 2 skulls, or 2 helmets, sorry, then you'll start getting mercenaries out on you. And I mean, if you want to take out the mercenary ships and collect the loot that they have, that's fine. But if you got a time constraint going on like I do here, I've only got a few hours left to complete this challenge before it's done for the week. I would recommend just clearing those off as the helmet comes up. If you have to sink 25 ships, trust me, you're gonna recollect the money it takes to pay off those bounties. So here's another good example of using your fire arrows wisely. I saved some for this ship, and he's done already. I mean, if I had used up all my fire arrows on those 2 smaller ships before, then that fight with that big ship would have taken me longer, just like it's about to right here. As you can see, I'm already down to 1 segment of energy, so I'm gonna have to take some time to build that back up. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to kind of sail around these waters by Attica. We're going to go over here, just beneath Athens. So here we are. I'll show that on the map again where we at. We haven't actually reached the destination that I marked on the map yet, and we're already seeing more ships. So we'll show that again. We're about right there. So really what you want to do, if you're thinking about, you know, how do I get these ships to respawn, I tried fast traveling back to the starting island. It doesn't seem to work. The way that this game seems to be coded is that the ships kind of come in as you get close to them. So being able to see a ship, you know, letting out the bird or whatever and being able to see a ship far, far away really isn't possible. You kind of have to be within a certain vicinity before they load into the game. So I recommend just, you know, sailing these waters around Attica and the Pirate Islands, and you should be able to clear these ships pretty fast. So as you can see, we just got another helmet of notoriety up. So we're gonna pay close attention to that. We don't want it to. I'm gonna choose not to let that bounty come in after us and get in the way of what we're doing here. Okay, so we've been sailing around, taking some ships out, and a storm came upon us. Now, the storm situation, you know, if it starts to thunder and lightning and rain, it can make doing this a little more challenging because your visibility is now limited, you know, and you might see some ships off in the distance, but not have a good enough look on them to see that they're actually an Athenian ship. So you might waste some time sailing around right here if this happens to you. You could just go with it if you want. It's entirely up to you. Like, see, that ship right in front of me is not an Athenian ship, I don't think. Oh wait, it is. It is. But as you just seen, I had to get a little bit closer to it in order to verify whether there was actually a blue owl on there. It could have been a pirate ship. But what I recommend doing if you get into this situation and you don't want the storm to be around, just go to shore anywhere and use the day and night feature to fast forward time to when the storm is cleared out. And I believe when I did that, I think it took like 5 or 6 times of actually changing it from day to night. I don't know why. I don't know why Ubisoft decided that there should be a 5-day storm in the game, but you know, that's probably something we'll never know. But you know, here we are. We're up further into the into those narrow canals, and I also recommend changing these nations as well over to Athenian if you have the time. Like I said, I kind of waited a little bit too long to get into this quest, so I didn't have time to do all that. But try to change as many nations as possible when you start this quest out, and it will come again. The first thing you want to do is open up your map and see what's going on as far as the distribution of power between Spartans and Athenians. Okay? And change as many nations next to Attica over to Athenian control as you can. That way you've got a bigger area of ocean to search, and more of a chance that there's going to be Athenian ships on the horizon rather than Spartan ships. Okay? Same principles that I outlined in my previous video about the Red Sea, when they were asking you to search for Spartan ships. That's actually why the majority of my map is Spartan right now, because the previous weekly challenge had us searching for Spartan ships. So I went and changed over a whole bunch of nations to Spartan control in order to create those boats in those waters. So we're just going to sail around here, and we're going to finish taking out all these boats, and then I'll have some tips for you guys to clear out those 50 soldiers fast, and I mean fast.
Hey, looks like something valuable.
Rowing speed! Come on! Go to battle stations! Hit them with your spears! Ready your bows!
I wasn't worried. They could never sink this.
Ship your oar! Oars now! Slow the ship! Get that sail up! Everyone to battle position! Spears now!
There will be more battles like that. Nothing can left.
Let's move! We're moving now!
Okay, so there's our final ship, and now we're going to start working on the Athenian soldiers. Rather than go around all of Greece and find places to kill soldiers, what we're going to do is we're going to respawn this one after we're done here. So we're going to go over to Elise, and as you can see, if you haven't been here in a while, there should be a leader here, or somewhere else where there's usually a leader. That's where you want to go, because you're going to get your kill count up faster if there's leader presence, because there will be more military presence there. So as we can see here with the bird, there's the usual contingent of soldiers that would normally be here if there wasn't a leader. That's these guys right here. But as you begin looking further towards the center of this area, or wherever the leader is, you'll notice that there's a concentration of them in the center here. And I'm going to show you how to respawn this location with soldiers here in just a minute. So we're just going to stealthily go in here and start taking these guys down. I've got a lot of abilities stacked up right now that are increasing my assassin damage. So that's something to consider as well. Because one thing you don't want to do is have these guys start whooping on you and then have one of them run over here and set off this alarm. I'm sure you know all this by now if you've been playing for a while. So your first objective is to get to this trap or get to this smoke alarm and set a trap on it. And then what you're going to do is just kind of try to stealthily kill these guys in the outer perimeter and work your way in towards the middle. What I did here was I took out everybody around, like I said, and then I waited until it came down to just the nation leader and his contingent of guards that follows him around, and then I went in and got into a big old open conflict with those guys. So I mean, you can really do this however you want. You can go in guns blazing if that's what you want. I prefer to do it stealthily. And I'm on fire now. But it is going to get more challenging if the leader and his guards are alerted to your presence, okay? So you're just going to take all these guys out, okay? Pretty simple stuff. I'm not going to show all of that footage. But what I am going to show is now that the nation power is down significantly enough, you're going to notice on the map that there's a conquest battle that's available. What you're going to do is you're going to go here and fight for the Athenians and let them keep this territory. What that's going to do is it's going to respawn, once the conquest battle's over, it's going to respawn the soldiers in the fort. Another good thing about the conquest battle is if you use a heavy weapon like an axe, you're actually going to get more kills on Athenian soldiers during the conquest battle because they're going to get in the way of your big axe and they're going to get taken down. As you can see, I'm already up to 37. So I actually got some Athenian soldier kills in the conquest battle, even though I was fighting for the Athenians. Okay, so the conquest battle actually is going to help you get your kill count. We're going to finish it off right here, and we'll be done in one sitting. Okay. So, I have another video. It's called Instant Poison Combo, where it actually shows exactly how I take on my conquest battles. And so if you're interested in seeing how I got those extra kills during the conquest, then check that video out, because that's exactly what I went and did. Has to do with having a poison axe and such. So if you're interested in actually seeing how I did that, go over and check out that video. So with 3 more kills to go, this shouldn't be difficult. Just to do a recap, at the beginning of this quest, check your map, turn any nations around Attica over to Athenian control. That's going to guarantee that there's Athenian ships spawned in the waters around those nations. And then you're going to come to a fort that usually has a leader, and take them all out, bring the nation power down, go fight the conquest battle, and that'll respawn the usual guards that are in that fort. The leader, he ain't gonna be back, because now that you've done a conquest battle, it's gonna take some time before another leader takes control over this territory. So the leader ain't gonna be there anymore, but you should have plenty of soldiers to get the rest of your kills done. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope this helped out a lot. It's a lot of information to go over, but I hope it helps you, and tune in next time. Untitled Rogue out.